Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca. I'm here to talk about what is the most important step that we can take. It's interesting. I want to watch myself talk. I'm thinking about how I look when I talk, so I'm going to look at the computer. What is the most important step that you can take? And this is for self-perfection and also Techno Tutor. For me, the most important step that I took was through asking questions, because when you start asking questions, you will get the answers, but there's a certain objectivity to asking questions where you start to realize, what your own subject is. What do I mean by that? It's when you start asking the questions like, well, why am I thinking this? I mean, where do these thoughts come from? Why am I reacting this way? Why did I do that? Why did I react in that way in that situation? Why am I having a hard time moving through this? Why am I not, moving towards my goals? Like, what's going on? Why did I believe this? Why did I ever believe that? I mean, how did I come to believe that? And when I found information that changed my belief, how could that happen? Where was I? I mean, people call that cognitive dissonance. I mean, how are you using your words? And I think the first step, the biggest step that you can take, is when you really start questioning those things. And it usually is an experience where you realize that you believe something and that belief did not serve you well. If anything, it caused a lot of reactions in your environment, which then caused a lot of inhibitions and consequences where you had to go back and change your perception. And then I think we've all had those experiences where we realize, wow, how did I believe that? And we actually can look at another person and say, thank you. I can see it now. I can see that I had this belief and it was determining my actions, and it was causing me to have a lot of consequences that weren't fun. And just you bringing that up, I'm willing to admit that I believed something that really wasn't good for me. And so that is really the big step that you can take towards waking yourself up. And that then demands by nature that you start investigating things more. You start realizing, well, I really have to look at what's being said and expressed in my environment with the people around me, my direct relationships. It precipitates asking questions about government and the use of world resources and how they're moving around in the world. And then you start to realize that we actually created all this through allowance and through ignorance, because we weren't paying attention to what was going on. So the most important step that you can take is just starting to clean up what's resonant within you. Because if you had a belief and you use that belief to direct you, one day you realize, why did I have that belief? It was just not, it was a lie by omission. It wasn't the whole story. It was missing insight into a lot of dimensions and properties and values that are in the world around us, interacting with one another. So that is a resonance. It's like having a song in your head. So when you start understanding how you as a human being can hold beliefs within you as a resonance and coming out of you, creating your thoughts, and you start then going back and looking at, what have I created within myself through allowance? Even if you can't blame your parents, you can't blame anyone, because being blamed is a distraction in itself. You're too busy trying to push it outside of you and say it's not your fault. But in a way, it's your default system, because it's resonating within you and you can only speak that which you have within you. So it's creating the limitations and barriers that you have in interacting in the world around you. So that the most important step is to realize that you have resonant things within you as thoughts that are ideas and beliefs and opinions, where you're chasing desires and wants and needs based on some idea you have. And that's really never going to make you happy, because really what makes us happy is when we're, I mean, it's like the word happiness. The root of it is the word haptic, which is using your hands, which is doing, which is complete participation within this reality around us. So cleaning up your resonance, that's what self-perfected is about. It's to perfect ourselves, to become what is an expression of what is best for all within us, so that we really connect with how this world works, and then can stand up and build systems or learn to interact with what's on earth to create a world that's best for all. And to start that, you have to purify your words. You have to start to go back to the beginning and really reintegrate your words. And there's a tool for this called Techno Tutor, and the computer is great because it's never emotional. So you use accelerated learning, which is using all your senses to reintegrate the words and remove these beliefs. Are not going to completely go away, but they're not going to be so, you're going to have corrective structures within you to stand up and realize to a greater degree, be able to read what's going on within you as your resonant belief system that you got in the first 7 years, and start to rebuild so these polarizing reactive things are not so loud, and you have a structural means to stand up and be more self-directive, and as well process information more effectively, so that you're not so overwhelmed with what's happening with you from the world around you and the things within you. So yeah, the first step from my perspective is to begin to realize how you as a human being work, and how you as a human being works actually shows you that you are absolutely amazing. So this is Rebecca, and I'm speaking here for Self-Perfected, and I'm here to say, perfect yourself before you wreck yourself. For that, join Self-Perfected and get Techno Tutor and start purifying your words and becoming a master of yourself, so your best self comes forward. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.